Welcome to r/Entitled People, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story. An entitled coworker who gets away with everything drove me to the point of leaving my job on the spot. The second story. When the boss thought that he was more important, and that a simple worker could be replaced, but in fact replaced the boss, and the worker got everything he wanted. The third story. The thief and the coupon queen both fired. The first story is, I finally quit, and it was the best feeling ever. So I started this job about 6 months ago. Never been a server before, but I caught on pretty quickly and started getting the good sections within a couple of weeks. Anyway, we have these Russian sisters who work there, who are extremely bossy, and act like they run the place. One of them, R1, is a total B who absolutely everyone hates. However, R2 has been with the restaurant since it opened 7 years ago and got her sister the job. If they fire R1, R2 is probably going to leave. So R1 just does whatever the F she wants, and literally pushes people out of her way, and never gets in trouble for it. She works lunch shifts quite often, but always comes in to do morning side work, and then leaves for at least an hour. She either goes home to get ready. The rest of us seem to be able to get ready before we come to work. Or she just goes out to do other stuff. Eventually she'll come back in time for the place to get busy, and then will seat herself 4 to 5 times to catch up. Of course, this isn't fair. The managers let her get away with everything and all of us hate it. They show favoritism to the sisters and one other girl in the restaurant, and all of us can't stand them. The managers don't do the right thing, and the rest of us get mistreated in the process. Heaven forbid we're 10 minutes late to work, but R1 can show up, leave as much as she wants, call out as much as she wants, and she gets away with it. She yells at people constantly, even in front of customers, and shoves them out of the way. I've been fed up with this place for a while, but they're very lax on the scheduling and I can basically curate my own schedule and take off whenever I need to, so that's why I and the other servers have put up with the BS for so long. Today though, I took a closing lunch shift from another server because she didn't want to be stuck alone with R1. Closing lunch at our place means they cut everyone else after lunch rush and leave 2 people until dinner shift starts. Anyway, it started to get fairly busy for just us 2. I walk out of the kitchen with some food and sauce cups and she just plows into me. She's the kind of person who won't move out of the way for others. And the sauce goes flying everywhere. We weren't near any tables, so it didn't go anywhere other than the floor. Of course, she starts to bee me out and say how I shouldn't even be working. The other server was supposed to work today. The other server wasn't there because she didn't want to deal with your BA. Anyway, she keeps shouting at me in front of my customers and that was it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. I told her there's a reason everyone effing hates her and she didn't really have a comeback for that. One of my customers who's a regular saw the exchange and told me she was sorry and I didn't deserve that. Then I went up to the manager who of course didn't have my back during any of this, even though he knows what she's doing is wrong. I told him I'm walking out unless he tells her she can't act like that and he just said, "That's fine, you can go." So I told him I'll finish up with the tables I have and then I'm done. They started to scramble when people kept coming in, and they only had one server, who's a really SH server to begin with. I texted all my other coworkers to let them know I quit, and to not come in early if the manager calls them. I won't do anything to help R1 or the managers who let her get away with anything. The other servers all hate her as much as I do, if not even more, especially the people who have been here for longer than I have. They will never lift a finger for her. Moral of the story? Don't stay at a job if you're being severely mistreated. It's not worth the money. Update. My former coworkers keep texting me that R1 won't quit talking SH about me, but how they're standing up for me and telling her that they don't even like her, whereas they like me. They want to organize a meeting with the manager to talk about the situation, of favoritism in the restaurant, and how they're all getting mistreated. Luckily, I have plenty of money saved up where I'll be fine for a while, but unfortunately a lot of them don't have that luxury and can't just up and quit. The second story is, everyone is replaceable sometimes. A little story, I'll be brief. In the EU, everything comes secondhand, so some liberties were taken. So the company deals with cooling, heating, and insulation. Let's call them Air and Heat Company. It's busy work, generates a lot of business. One of the largest clients is this German construction company. They're super picky. You have to follow rules, regulation, and law 100%. There's no wiggle room, no cutting corners, only top-of-the-line materials. Even the paint used must be approved previously. Super detail-oriented. They do quality work. Their target customers are the top 10% of the population. So they require the same level of high standards from each and every one of their contractors and third-party workers. Contracts are very specific. All that said, they pay top money. Of course, work has to be on par, only top of the line. A job that would cost 1 times, they pay 5 times, if it meets the quality standards. You get the idea. On to the story. Our main protagonist, whom we will call Istvan, is a bear of a man. Long beard, long hair, loves to drink beer, and is generally a lovely fellow. He manages a tight crew of about 8 guys. He does top work, clean work, as crawling around buildings is usually dirty work. The most important part is that out of the 6 teams in the Air and Heat Company, his crew is the only team who's up to the quality standards of the German company. 0 complaints, job delivered on time, no extra budget, 100% satisfaction. Well, at the start of March, Istvan goes to the boss and tells him, I deliver, I do quality work, my team has 0 complaints about anything. I did some digging around me and my team need a 20% increase in salary just to be a la par with what the market is paying. The boss, who's kind of an A, but knows everything Istvan has said is true, tells him no, that they can negotiate, that maybe he can do 10% for him and 5% for his crew. Istvan says there's no negotiation. This is what it is. This is the bare minimum he and his team need to get on the market level. The boss says no. Istvan thanks him and leaves. No shouting, no hard feelings, nothing. Next day, he presents his resignation. The boss is peeved and smug. He thinks this is some kind of ruse. HR asks the boss what's going on. The boss says it's a power play and not to worry about letting him go. After all, everyone is replaceable. HR lady inquires, "Are you sure? This guy is a top worker, very respected with a lot of knowledge." The boss is like, "Nah, I got this." Next day, the boss goes to where Istvan is with the HR person and tells him his required month notice won't be needed. They'll pay him as it's the law. However, he's to leave at once. Istvan, being a smart man, just shrugs, says goodbye, shakes hands with the boss, goes with the HR person, does what has to be done, and leaves. Everyone is sad to see him leave. Such is the way of things. The boss asks Istvan's team who will step up and take the lead. No surprise, no one wants it. The boss tells them, just like Istvan is replaceable, so are you. Still, no one wants to be in charge, and the boss knows he can't force them. The boss decides to split the team. Just a month after Istvan's departure, the calls from the Germans began. At the same time as this is going, each one of Istvan's old crew is quitting, one at a time. Then too, almost half the team is gone. The boss is annoyed, sends team after team to the Germans' construction site, and there's no way to satisfy these guys. Mistakes are made, jobs are not up to standard, the Germans are angry and complaining every day. Finally, after about 3 months, I guess the heads of the German company called the owner of the heat and air company asking what the hell's going on. Work's not getting done. They're going to break the contract with cause and they will go legal. Owner called an all-hands-on-deck meeting. He was very hands-off. Still, Air and Heat Company was his baby, as it made him a ton of money, and was the first of several companies he owned. Owner shows up with his #1 guy. The greatest hits of the meeting. First words out of owner's mouth, "Where the hell is Istvan and why isn't he handling this?" The boss gulps and lets him know. No point lying. Owner stays composed. "So for 20% you lost Istvan? Is that about it?" HR, "Why didn't you do something?" Accounting, "You know how much money the German company pays us?" To the CEO, his son-in-law, "What kind of idiot doesn't know what's going on and how he can afford to lose the most efficient and productive person in all the company?" Owner tells the CEO to go down and find Carlos. Carlos, team's manager who assigns work, gets to the meeting room. You can tell SH is about to hit the fan when Carlos addresses the owner by his first name instead of Sir, Mr., or Lord Owner. Owner very calm. "Carlos, what the hell? You knew about this, that Istvan quit?" Carlos, a non-BS man who does not give a single F about anything, says, "Yes." He pointed towards the boss. "I told him it was a mistake, several times, that we could not lose him. I told him if Istvan goes, his team will follow. Also that if he left, we would be screwed. The boss told me to mind my own business, as everyone is replaceable and I could be next. I told him it was his grave, and that I would remind him about it when we had this exact conversation. He once again reminded me he was the boss." Then Carlos pointed to the HR lady. "I wrote her about 7 emails about this. She wrote me back once telling me that they had it under control." He pointed at the CEO. "I talked to him and he said he was busy, and that the boss would handle it." Owner is red and fuming. Somehow he remains composed. The owner tells everyone to leave, except Carlos, his #1. The CEO stays, and as everyone is leaving, the owner tells the new girl from HR to please stay. Fallout, the boss fired. HR all fired, with the exception of the new girl who had only been there a month. Accounting department all fired. Why weren't the staff paid competitive salary? And if HR failed, why did they not do anything? Do you people have any clue how much income the German corporations bring to this company? Owner told number 1, I don't want to see any of them. Get security to escort them out. Gather up their stuff and out the door before the end of day. Number 1 said to the owner that some of the fired people would probably file a grievance. Owner said he doesn't care. That's why he has a legal team. Owner told the CEO, you better pray that you can get Ispan back. Get on your knees if you have to. Like your job depends on it, because it does. Aftermath. Ispan did return with all his team, except one of the guys who had found a very good job and did not want to go back. Included in Ispan's deal was the 20% increase he wanted, plus another 25% for his troubles. You know what the guy said? The other 25% needed to be given to his team as well, as they were all in the same boat. Owner agreed. The company had to buy some of Isvan's teammates' contracts as they were working in other jobs already. It was one of the conditions Isvan put down. Update to every employee of the company. Salary to be put at market level. CEO had to apologize to every employee of the company for the low wages in person. Owner gave everyone a bonus in person and apologized. Shook everybody's hand and told them that they were very important to the company. All team leaders got a new company truck. CEO, owner's son-in-law, stripped of any power. Not even the power to hire or fire anyone. New girl became the head of HR, and the owner reminded her not to forget how she got her job. How do I know all this? The new girl is my wife. Everyone is replaceable except some people are more replaceable than others. On a personal note, this is the way. This is the reason so many companies fail. They think everyone is disposable. The owner understood the mistake and corrected it. My wife is very happy working there and has gotten to know some of the co-workers. They hired the boss, a new accountant with assistant, a new assistant to HR, filed some gaps in the teams. The Germans are happy again. And the last story is, and you're fired. Who's got a good thief story? My amazing boss just fired this new girl for stealing. We all knew she was stealing from the house. Every shift she worked, at least one server booked would go missing. One night she took this poor girl's entire cash out, about $400. Today a woman came in to complain that the tip on her credit card had been adjusted. Our thiefy colleague had been saving the duplicate, writing in her own tip and closing it out to the higher stolen amount. All told, she stole about $1,000 from coworkers, the restaurant, and guests. At the other restaurant I work at, same chain, one is franchise, one is corporate, there was a girl who got the highest in the company for coupon redemption. She thought it was an honor and bragged about it, until she got fired, as the majority of her coupons were her own and self-applied to cash checks. The girl who got fired today had only been with us a couple of weeks, but the coupon queen had been with the company for over 5 years. I hope you love these stories. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day.